wreck in 3 and 4. There's going to be a wreck in 3. Caution, caution, caution.
And sure enough, Joey Meyer calls it. The 11 involved. Denny Hamlin around and bringing out the 4th caution at Martinsville. That was live, by the way, folks. You were listening to Joey Meyer live, trying to get the 2 of Brad Keselowski back to the bottom of the track as we see damage to the 10 of Danica Patrick.
You see that inside lane stacks up in the chain reaction. It stacks all the way back until the 11 gets into the back of the 43, and you can see behind them these cars just can't get slowed down. That's why we talk about the fight for the bottom. Well, what happens is at the end of the straightaway, when a car dives to the bottom, that checks the whole line up. It's basically like changing lanes on the interstate in traffic. That lane stops, the other lane rolls, and you see the chain reaction. As everyone jams on the brakes, finally you get back 3, 4, 5 cars that couldn't get slowed down.
And you can't see it. When you're 5 rows behind where it starts checking up, you do not see it. So the spot.
Careful as the crew chief not to.
And the caution has come out in turn 3, the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. slow. And that's the reason why. Right front locked up, damage that right front fender, and he's being told go to the garage.
He's coming down into turn 3, so he has some damage already, and you just see the car just go straight.
8 cars were involved in that incident that took place with Denny Hamlin, Danica Patrick.
Inside. Here you spin in 3 and 4. Caution, caution. Caution, caution. Car is stuck on the curb in 3 and 4. It may not be moving. All right, it's moving. Track will be clear on the corner.
You see here Sam Hornish Jr. trying to get down into turn 3. Looks like he's 3 wide, and the 98 gets forced down over the curb and really just comes up into the side of the 9 car. Nothing I think Sam Hornish could do.
There's a gap behind the person behind him. In other words, if the car behind him, in this case Kurt Busch, is pushing him too hard, you see Danica Patrick shoot up the racetrack there. He wants to know if there's a gap where he can get back behind another car. Jeff, that's an interesting strategy to almost give up a spot here at Martinsville. Not something you normally want to do, but you don't want a driver pressuring you that hard early in a run either.
Greg Biffle went around coming out of turn 2. That brings the caution out once again.
You see the 38 just got behind her and just pushed her into the corner. She was trying to get in, and he just wasn't having any of it and pushed her right into the wall.
They're about even on entry. The 4 doesn't gain a whole lot, but right about here where you get off the brakes, look at the 4.
And around goes the 18 of Kyle Busch. The 3 as well with Austin Dillon. The caution will come out. As they checked up in front of him, Carl Edwards running 16th. Got into the back of A.J. Allmendinger.
Yeah, it's hard to see what you see right here, the 18. He just gets loose and comes up the track chasing. He doesn't mean to get into the 3. He's sliding up the racetrack out of control, and the chain reaction got Colorado.
Didn't we hear him say something about water on the
apron?
Does he think that water caused this issue? Where he got in the corner and there's water on the racetrack? Let's see if there is water.
Down, 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 down.
It almost looked like he got into the curb. The way the steering wheel moved.
Stay bottom lane. Get it rolling. Stay bottom lane. Bottom lane. Bottom lane.
Could he make history once again as around goes the 15?
Down again.
Clint Boyer, hard contact with the back of that car into the wall. He was running 16th, and you see all the damage to the back end of the 15.
David Reagan all the way to the bottom of the backstretch trying to get into the 42. The 42 is trying to protect. And as he gets into the left rear of the 42 goes up to the racetrack, gets into the left rear of the 15. Clint Boyer probably had no idea he had those 2 cars underneath him.
And listen, it's lap 186. Okay, I know it's a fight to the bottom, but at the same time, you have to use, you have to give a little bit. You have to say, all right, I don't have this spot right now. It's okay to lift and not get in the back of somebody. I know the fight for the bottom is important, but again, lap 182, a little patience isn't a terrible thing.
And this is why the caution came out. Take a look. Way up the racetrack, Kyle Fowler in the 32. Earlier that we saw a lap turned early under 20 seconds, and then everyone else was running right around 21 seconds to maybe low 21s, and the caution has come out now.
Yeah, the 10
Danica Patrick around in turn 4.
Yeah, the pace had picked up though, hadn't it, Rick? The lap time was getting quicker.
They were running 20.5, 20.4 second laps consistently after they'd run 30 laps.
Still lined up, not much of a gap anywhere.
Pace is picking up, and Tough situation for Danica Patrick as she comes down, and the 38 stops right in front of her.
Yeah, Danica.
And now they're not going to stop. It's not over.
Danica's upset at Gilliland from early in the race. Remember, the two got together, and Danica tried to pay her back, and pay him back rather, and
probably go to the garage, I'd say.
she got the worst of it.
This is the 38 running the 10 all the way up the track, and then Danica into the wall. And now most recently,
It looks like a replay in opposite positions. The 10 gets behind the 38, runs the 38 up the racetrack.
chases the 38 up the racetrack, and then around she goes. Green light on the pits, and pit road is open, Kelly.
How many spots this is going to cost Kevin Harvick?
Kevin should lift right here and get behind the 24. Wasn't able to do it. Needed to make that move much earlier.
Caution in turn 4 for the 23. Jeb Burton around.
Jeb gets to the 38 a little bit and tries to get slowed down, and Sam Hornish is coming. They make contact. Jeb was running 32nd.
Quickly he can do it.
And the leader is gone, green. Straddling 2, now just Kurt, still there.
Oh, around goes the 20.
Keep coming, shove through it.
Kenseth around,
Back it
out in front of the
inside,
field. The 41 has damage. Joey Logano clears him.
And the 22 got at the racetrack. The 2 got in the back of the 22. And they come off the corner, and the 20 and the 2 make contact. It's on from there.
Yeah, and the 41, it really has nowhere to go. They spin and catch the 41. He makes heavy contact with the inside wall.
It's coming off turn 2. There's the initial contact.
Look at the 41. It's a big hit. But, you know, this all started on the restart. They just didn't do as good of a job this time of making all the transitions work, and it got everybody checked up.
Outside 24, outside, tight, right there in front of you. Keep coming, straight.
Where the 41 hits, that inside wall, that's actually a new safer barrier there. It used to just be a concrete wall.
So here we go. They're side by side. They take off. The 22 doesn't get quite as good of a run as we've seen. The 2 gets into the back of the 22, gets everybody checked up. Then it gets started from there.
Yeah, the 2 doesn't want to go. He wants to let the 22 in, but the 41 is pushing the issue because that's what he needs to do. He can't let the 2 just sit there and wait. He has to try to push the 2.
And Kenseth cleared by Logano. Maybe no. Kenseth takes him out. Logano into the wall. Caution comes out and the crowd roars.
What's going on down here?
I know we had talked about it after what we saw a couple weeks ago. I was the first to say I never expected that to happen out of the 20 car.
This is what just took place.
And clearly the 22 is lapping the 20, and 20 obviously intentionally wrecked him. And like what happened the week before was more than 2 weeks before was more than it should have been, and just flat wrecked him.
Matt Kenseth already not having the day that he wanted to have. And the opportunity presented itself at a short track.
Still down there, still down there, still down there, still down there.
Once the favorite for the title, Joey Logano out of his car. Matt Kenseth out of his car. It will be an interesting trip to the infield care center. Allows McMurray to take the curb.
But now Jeff Gordon has some lap cars. He has the 83 and the 2 side by side getting into turn 1.
And around they go in front of him, and the caution will come out. The 9 of Sam Hornish Jr. stopped on the track. We will have a restart.
Now you come get tires. There's 31 laps of these tires. Last year we saw the leaders pit late. The 88, the 24 came and got tires. They passed cars on the first lap. 4 cars stayed out. They passed them all in one set of corners.
If you're Jeff Gordon, this is a no-win situation.